Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Robbe with Believe in the Run.
Robbe, what do we got?
We got a big boy. We're not talking about the Super. We're not talking about the Nova. We're not talking about the Champagne Supernova. We're talking about the Asics Megablast. This is a big one.
This is a big one, and we just did the review with Megan on the Sonic Blast, and I'm excited to talk about this one because, as I mentioned in that one, the Blast line is probably like my favorite line from ASICS. You got the Legends, the Blast line, and then the Speed line. So
yeah, I mean, and the first one of those to come out was, of course, the Nova Blast. I guess at this point, almost going on a half decade.
Dude, it's crazy. Does it feel like yesterday?
It does, and that was kind of changed. I feel like that was like the turning point for ASICS. That's when the ship turned around, and then
it was like when they let go of the having everything to having to be in the Nimbus or the Cayano like kind of category, and they're like, wait, there's a shoe that runners want. There's a sensation or experience that runners are looking for that we can provide in a different way.
Yeah, and then of course the Super Blast was really one of those shoes that it was like a super trainer. It didn't have a plate, but it was beloved by many, I should say. And frustrated a lot of people because it became so popular, people wanted it, right.
And they couldn't get it. And I think you're gonna find now with all these choices, maybe the Super Blast isn't the pick for you anymore.
What's the brief overview? Like, what is this shoe if you're just jumping in here and because it is the first version. So.
Right. Well, it's funny, when we talked to ASICS, they said the Super Blast is still going to be their long run shoe because it offers a little more stability, but I didn't feel like this is that unstable. And this one's going to be your lightweight, daily up to like, I think it does fine on long runs.
And it is very much in the same range to me as the Super Blast, but of course there's some new materials, there's some upgraded foam, so I guess we can just start. Let's just dive into it top down. Do you want to start with the upper?
It's very light, it's super breathable. It's like almost, I don't know what kind of yarn it is, but it feels like a TPU yarn or something like that.
It's almost like it's almost a race day shoe upper.
Yeah.
And with maybe a little bit more comfort and padding in the heel.
Maybe a little bit. We'll get to that though, because that's one of my knocks a little bit. But you said race day, and it's got the laces that you absolutely love.
That is true. It has the sawtooth laces, can't be beat. The tongue is actually stitched in. Well, it's gusseted. It's gusseted on both sides. Sorry, not stitched in. But so you got that somewhat secure tongue. You got the breathable upper. How'd you feel about the fit overall?
Well, that's the thing. Overall, the fit was good. True to size, 10.5. No hot spots. It does have that kind of race day feel upper to it. Where I kind of have to knock it a little bit was I thought that the heel counter and collar was a little bit like when you look down, you're getting that gaping, you're getting that kind of like not a perfect fit around there. I think it relies heavily on the pillowing that's in that interior there.
I thought it is similar to, not quite the motion wrap that you find in the Metaspeeds, but it's an in-between the Super Blast and the race day stuff.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right, so let's move on to the midsole, which is this new foam they're using called Flytefoam Turbo Squared.
You got to do some math for this one.
Yeah, there's so many variations of Flytefoam and Turbo that we're just doubling, or I guess not doubling up. I guess it's...
You're squaring it up.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know what number this is. If it was a 1 and you squared it, then you're...
Still at 1?
Still the same.
Yeah.
If you're 2,
but if
you're 2, it is a double.
Yeah,
if you're 3, it's more.
It is a new foam though. It's completely different than the foams that we've seen in the previous models of ASICS. It's an ATPU, Robbie.
Right. So and we've seen the aliphatic TPU. It seems to be the foam that's trending these days.
It's a darling.
We've seen it in the Puma Fast R and the Norda 005 race day shoe. So that's it's definitely it's a bouncy but resilient midsole foam.
And that's the key, I think, why we're seeing ATPU kind of almost start to overshadow a P-Bax foam is the durability in it and the rebound in it are pretty substantial. And this foam they're saying is 33% more bouncy than the previous foam used in the Turbo for the Super Blast.
Right. So that's quite a significant amount of bounce, while also they said it was like 10% lighter.
Size 10.5, 8.7 ounces, or almost 8.8 ounces, and 249 grams.
And I think that's about the same weight as the Super Blast was in like a men's 9, so you're getting a decent amount of weight savings right there. So that's light, 8.8 for your men's 10.5.
Yeah, for a non-race day shoe, for something that you're gonna wear for almost like a daily trainer.
And the stack height is pretty substantial. It's 45 in the heel and 37 in the 4-foot 8mm drop.
Yeah,
that's quite the stack height.
It's a little bit lower stack than the Sonic Blast.
All right, cool. Yeah, so, which is wild, but anyway, so everything's just apparently over 40 millimeters at this point.
Yeah.
But it is lightweight, it is bouncy. Tell me how you felt about it on the run.
Like, you get out there, you've got plenty of cushion underfoot. So when I was doing my runs, and I just happen to have like double-digit runs like a couple times a week these days. So I was able to get out there and really just kind of feel the shoe and feel what it was going to feel like when your legs are starting to get tired and stuff like that. I also took it for a stair workout where I climbed Federal Hill and did like loops around that. And I kept trying to be like, why would I choose this shoe over the Super Blast, or why wouldn't I, which one would it be? And it really serves a very similar purpose and a similar feel. Like, afterwards, I felt like if this was a Super Blast 3, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Now, we know that the Super Blast is going to remain in the lineup, and we kind of have an idea of where it's going, but I still kind of feel like this is the Sonic Blast came in, and there's a reason for it to be there. It was needed, it was missing from the lineup. This one is a little confusing to me as far as like, okay, why this over the Super Blast, or,
Yeah, no, I pretty much feel the same way. I really enjoy this shoe. I actually like this shoe more. To be fair, I only had one run in the Sonic Blast so far. We just got these like a week ago. And so the overall feel, I feel like I like this shoe more. It does feel to me almost as a successor, like you said, to the Super Blast. I took this on a 6-mile run, just kind of easy, chill, and then a 16-mile long run where I picked it up at the end. Honestly, felt fantastic. Love this shoe for that 16 miles. I thought underfoot feel was great. The weight and the bounce of the midsole, that was nice.
And it was funny because when you did the 16-mile run, we were doing a 14-mile run, and Robbie ended up getting some extra miles in. But one of the things we noticed is that how much the dynamics of the shoe changed when you went from a heel strike to a forefoot. Now, I pretty much land midfoot, and so that's where I'm judging this shoe. But when Robbie mentioned, hey, I hit the heel, it does feel completely different.
I also land similar midfoot, but it is always interesting when you kind of just purposely heel strike just to see what it feels like to land. And it's a totally different sensation.
That was where the bounce really kicked in.
You get a real big bounce in that respect. But I felt that I always felt the Super Blast, while comfortable and lightweight, and you can kind of do everything in the shoe, I still felt like it was a little tough to, it felt like if you could get it at a speed, it could stay there, but it didn't have that bounce, that like really aggressive bounce, but it felt like you could sink into it a little bit.
I ran a marathon in the Super Blast, and I thought it worked perfectly well for that. But that is one of those ones where you get up to your pace and kind of just hold the pace, where I can see what you're saying in this one. Maybe you can get a little more punch out of it. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm feeling. Now, I will say the one thing that I don't love about this, and that's kind of what I didn't love, my one knock against the Super Blast has always been, is that it just feels blocky. I feel underfoot a lot of times. You have a wide platform, and I think that feel can be, I don't know, it can be limiting in some ways if you're trying to go fast, if you're cornering and things like that. And I think that's my one negative about the design of the shoe.
And I can see that. I think originally when we first tried the Super Blast, we weren't like blown away because it took us a minute to figure out the shoe. And this one does have that same feeling of, you have sort of a wide platform, so that's where it gets its stability. But it does, when you say blocky, I can definitely feel that. And I think that might be why I kind of liked the sleeker feel of the Sonic Blast.
But for like a long run, kind of just that feels fun and light, and yeah, like even a race day shoe, if you, maybe a beginner race day shoe.
A lot of people don't want a plate in a shoe. So say that you want a race day shoe that's not plated, this could be the pick.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The one thing that doesn't change so much from the Super Blast and it actually gets a little higher is the price point.
Right, so the price point on this is $225, and that's like, we're getting up there now. And I know everything's increasing with the tariffs and whatnot.
Now the ATPU foam should last longer. You do have the ASICS grip on the bottom, so you've got a really nice traction, and that's gonna hold up pretty well. There's lots of exposed foam.
Yeah.
Mine don't look that beat up though. I think I have like 30 miles on these, and they look pretty good. That's the trouble. We know now that we're getting shoes that have some of these performance materials in them. I'm not even sure what's in the Evo SL for the midsole, but it could be an ATPU. They're pretty tight-lipped over at Adidas about what's actually in that, and that shoe is a fraction of the price of this.
Yeah, so this is where things get weird, is because in many ways it is a lightweight daily trainer / like do-it-all shoe. But as we're seeing, a lot of brands are bringing these foams that are lightweight and into lightweight shoes, like you said, the Evo SL. Obviously, things like Robbe, even the Puma Velocity Nitro,
Zen.
all these shoes that are in that 150 range to 150, 160, sometimes 140. And I'm trying to figure out how to justify the gap of $70 between the shoes.
The only thing I could say is you called it blocky a little bit earlier. What I would call is this foam is going to be holding up pretty well and provide a platform that some of those shoes maybe don't. So you might get a little more life out of something like this.
I have no doubt that the aliphatic TPU will last hundreds of miles in the shoe. It's interesting because it's not a super squishy soft midsole. You get a good bounce out of it, but it's not going to compress that. You're not going to compress this to nothingness. No. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, a little breaking in will probably make it even better.
Right, yeah.
As far as weight, durability, and the cushioning goes, this is probably one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's a great shoe. Like you said, it's basically, I feel like an improvement on the Super Blast in many ways. And I don't think you'll be disappointed in it as a running shoe for sure.
But it is something we got to consider now as the prices are going up.
Yeah.
Is it that much of a jump? And I think it's just going to come down to personal taste. And also personal taste, this one's pretty bright. And when we showed up for our group run with the Faster Bastards, people seem to like some of the wild colors.
A lot of people loved it.
But if you want something clean, which I typically love clean, Megan likes an all white. I kind of really love it in the triple white with the pearlized midsole.
I didn't even see the shoe. That's pretty awesome. I actually love that.
Yeah, it's nice, right? First reveal with Robbe. All right, let's get into our ratings.
Yeah. So for the ratings, let's do form first. Form, I'm gonna go 3. Like I said, it is a little bit blocky. Now, I do like that it's a 45 millimeter stack height, but it's still actually a pretty stable shoe, especially compared to the Nova Blast, which I had worn recently for grit, and I forgot how unstable that shoe is.
It's kind of mushy.
Yeah, so I do like the fact that it's stable, but it is a little bit blocky. I'd say the overall design, it's fine, it's good, but good is 3, so I'm gonna give it a 3.
All right, I'm giving it a little better grade than Robbe just because I really find the shoe looks good. I think it overall, like, weight is right in a sweet spot. So I'm giving it a 4.
All right, so moving on to fit.
All right, this is where I dock it a little bit because of the, like I said, when I look down at the heel counter and collar, I'm getting some gaping and some weird, just how it fits down there. But true to size on form, so I'm gonna give it a 3.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4 because I did feel like I felt like after the, my long run I did in the shoe, no hot spots, no rubbing. I thought overall felt pretty great. Like I said, it is similar to a race day fit, so I might take a point off for that because you never get a great fit in a race day shoe, I feel like.
All right, so let's get down to function.
Yeah, so function, like for me, the function is actually a 5. I think it performs exactly how I wanted to perform. It's fast and light and bouncy and fun and can go any distance. I think that's exactly what you want from this shoe, from a super trainer like this. So to me, it's a 5.
For me, I've been stingy with the 5s, but I'm gonna give this a 4. I like it. I think it works really well. It achieves what they're trying to achieve. It's hard not to try to compare it to the Super Blast, like see it as an individual shoe. But overall, I think the durability is there, the stability is there. You got a nice outsole, and the ride's fun.
I'm interested to see how the Super Blast 3 runs and why there would be a difference between the two, or what that difference is. I guess we'll find out.
All right, so Robbie's score is a 12. My score is an 11 overall. That's a green light for this shoe.
For what you get out of the shoe, for how lightweight it is and the bounce and energy turn, that is hard to beat.
Well, this is one shoe that I do want to get more miles on, so I'm going to continue running on it. I have about 30 on my pair right now, I believe. So I'm going to just keep it in rotation, see how it goes. All right, Robbie, so that takes care of everything. What do we want people to do?
Make sure you like this video and subscribe, or don't, whatever. But no, I'm just kidding, do that. And listen to our podcast, Fuel for the Soul and the Drop. Sign up for our email list in the bottom of in the description, where you'll get all our stuff in one place each week.
I mean, that's probably the smartest thing to do. You'll see everything that we're reviewing, everything that we're talking about, all in one spot.
And then, just check back. We'll be having, before you know it's going to be the end of the year, we'll have our best shoes of the year coming out. We put our best shoes of the year so far just a couple weeks ago. But we'll have, it's getting there. In a couple months, we'll be doing a full roundup of everything. And we'll be at the running event in just a couple months, where we'll be previewing everything that's coming in 2026.
And don't forget, we've still got the Ray to review from ASICS. We just got that in. People have seen it, so it's not that groundbreaking. But yeah, we'll be giving that a shot.
So much stuff lies ahead.
I think it's the Meta Speed Ray.
Meta Ray.
Yeah.
Meta
Like a
Speed
manta
Ray.
ray.